Last week, the Alabama football program is rallied around freshman quarterback Keelan Russell following the tragic passing of his twin sister, Kirsten Russell, with teammates, coaches, and the Crimson Tide community offering unwavering support during this heartbreaking time. Head coach Caleb DuBois emphasized the team's family-first culture, while players have dedicated summer workouts to honor Russell's sister. As a fan, I offer my sincere condolences and prayers to the Russell family during this time of loss. God bless the family and the friends of Kirsten Russell. May God keep you guys forever. Now on to the Around the Herd. Roll Tide, everybody. Roll Tide, Alabama fans, and welcome to Tight Sports. This is the Alabama Football Megacast and the People's Crimson Tide Network. Thank you for joining me on whichever platform or virtual space you seem to have found with your thumb. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, share a pound with me. Drop that pound on the subscribe button as you settle in. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Thank you for joining me. And just remember, if I successfully stimulate the happy juice in your gray matter and make your funny bone jiggle, let me know by poking that like button right in the eye. Poke it in the eye. Let the algorithm know what we're doing over here at Tight Sports. Woo, we got a lot to talk about. Let's get down to it. Let's get down to business. Me reading his music down a little bit. Saw an article and I just had to jump on it right from the beginning, y'all. Could Alabama use private equity investment to pay players? So we got the lawsuit. You know, we got private equity. People that don't know what it means. I mean, people like yourself, not me, because, you know, I'm a hardworking guy. I barely can get cheese and bread on the table at night. But the big time boys, they are thinking about buying these programs. This is something we've talked about on a Iron Bowl debate, me and DC, Wednesdays at 6 p.m. if you're interested. We've talked about this stuff. Companies are going to come in and they're going to buy the football program, buy it right up from under the state, the alumni. But if the state can get their money, if the school can get their money, is it a bad thing? Because maybe they can keep giving them the $100 million they make off the football programs in some cases. But please know, these people looking to make 2 to 3 times more than that. Don't know. But you know, with the House settlement coming in and giving everybody $20 million to distribute, and, you know, revenue from tickets and streaming and media rights and all this stuff, you know, this type of private equity firms, they're looking at it like, since y'all taking money now, can I put in on this? Because they are, no disrespect to college presidents, but there are people out here that know how to do more with the dollar than yourself. And they know that. They know that. Alabama, other programs might consider something I talked about since the beginning of this show, but something I've talked about since the beginning of portals and paying players, even before that. Alabama and other programs might just consider just separating themselves from the football program. I know. I said it before. It could be the Crimson Tide football program as sponsored by the University of Alabama. Or how about Alabama Football Incorporated? You know, to attract that investment, to get that money in here. It's just clear to me right now that the powers that be have definitely been joining in and listening to Tight Sports and Iron Bowl debate, because I've been saying this for a long time. But a shift like this to private equity firms and revenue sharing agreements, to fund the athletic. It's funny to me because right now the Big Ten and the SEC, they like calling shots. Oh, we good. We just gonna split the money like this. Oh, that's all well and good. They got solidarity going on, and, you know, of course, these people, they gonna want a royalty on top of their revenue streams, and they gonna get into the concession stand. They want some of that parking. They want some of them dumb hats y'all got with the tiger on the foam tiger that you pay about $50 to give to your kids so they can take it home and leave it in the car and it turn into like a crumpled up egg carton. You know, the SEC, Big Ten, they stand strong right now. They're resisting private equity. I'm not sure if all the teams in the SEC and the Big Ten can resist, but you ain't got no choice if they're not there in the group. They got solidarity. They don't want to take the money. I understand it. But I wonder what happens. If Mississippi State gets that guap dropped on them by the Catfish Consortium and Sanderson Chicken Funds, and they enter into the playoffs for the first time at Mississippi State. I wonder if the SEC commissioner was like, hey, y'all, wait a minute. You know, I wonder if the president of LSU and Alabama and Georgia are going to be like, hey, either y'all let us do what Mississippi State did or Tulane did, or whoever did, or we're going to have to break this SEC thing up because I'm sorry. This little measly $70 million y'all done gave us, the people in Mississippi, they got all this doggone catfish money, and people up there in Kentucky, not even University of Kentucky, some up, Bowling Green, they got all that bourbon money. We need some of that bourbon money. We need Uncle Nearest on our jerseys so we can be the team we're supposed to be. I'm just saying, that's what private equity does to you. Look at the NBA. Anybody remember when the Lakers was sponsored by Wish? Wish had Harvard products. They never sent nothing to my house that worked. But they was paying the Lakers. Didn't make sense to me. But that resistance is still there. Industry insiders are saying that private equity could be an eventual inevitability, especially for top-tier programs. Because if I had an extra $27 million to throw at somebody, right now, right off the bat, with all due respect, I'm not giving Kentucky my money, but I would love to give $27 million to the Crimson Tide so they can come in there and get a championship. And while they're on the championship, they can hold up my beanie weenie, tight style beanie weenie, whatever. I don't know what product I'll be selling. I'll probably be selling like relationship advice, something like that. So just embrace it. And some team out there that we love destroying may be a thing of the past. Some of them may say they can't get no money. We love going down to La Tech and taking one loss in every 50 years and playing a Southern Miss, and maybe we lose to them once every 40 years when they come across another Brett Favre. But some programs may be like, hey, I can't take it. We're gonna go on down to FCS and dominate Valdosta State or something like that, or whoever's in FCS these days. But right now, all I can say for everybody, especially the University of Alabama, it's time to update that alumni mailing list. You just never know if one of your alumnus have turned into a multi-billionaire on the low. Maybe they created the next OnlyFans or something. I don't know what they do. Just go out there and make sure you know where they are so you can get that money because we're going to need it. Now, I was looking over where the Crimson Tide is right now, and currently the Crimson Tide is in their third week of summer training, mid-June, and I was looking at, we have some changes in the strength and coaching. One of the strength guys left, and now it's with David Ballou. That's the big guy, bald head. He out there doing that thing, and I wanted to take a look at what he was doing because, as you know, the Crimson Tide returned nearly every player. This is scholarship or not, including the entire recruiting class for last year. Brought in several transfers, and they're getting ready for summer camp. But like I said, it's something special happening at the University of Alabama. I want you all to be aware. I think these boys are they gelling together, and they trying to get back to the top, y'all, which is what they need to be. They ain't that far off, but they're trying to get back to the top. They had a good spring. They were building momentum going into the summer. And I saw an interview with David Ballou, and he said the players are locked in for the first week. The chemistry is strong. They're bonding well on and off the team. I know some of them went to Las Vegas together. Vegas is Vegas, but what happens in Vegas, hopefully it stays in Vegas and don't follow nobody back to Tuscaloosa. Riding on an affidavit or riding in a baby carriage. I hope it stay out there, stay in the valve. But the program is using this summer conditioning as a foundation to rebound from what happened over the last couple of years, not just last year. Because we ain't been to the top in a minute. And there was some different things going on with the strength and conditioning. So I was interested in looking at this and seeing what is Coach Ballou's philosophy about getting the players ready, because they said that there was a lot of finessing going around, trying to keep people from getting hurt, trying to preserve the body. Because, I'm an old man now, my ankle hurt just because I try to exercise. But I know that they probably got the same problems. They benching, the kicker down there benching 475 pounds, the punter probably squatting 800. And, he can wear on you for a little bit. So they try to do some things to lighten it up. Well, that's supposed to be out of the door. We getting back to hitting people in the mouth. And if our guy doesn't have the stamina to hit the guy in the mouth, we're going to bring somebody else in and keep pounding that rock. Or keep hitting that. Oh, you want to run up him and catch this blitz? You're going to pay for catching this blitz. Let me hit your quarterback. It'll be easy on you, Mr. Running Back. Just let me hit your quarterback. You don't want to deal with this. We're getting back to being mean, lean. Well, not even lean. Big and mean. Forget all the rest of that stuff. But Coach Ballou is using all this. Oh, man. A lot of technology being used. It's data driven. They're using expensive machines. What they say they're going to have Alabama centers around a data driven, individualized scientific approach designed for peak performance, injury prevention, and athletic development. What does that mean? What does that mean? Well, here's some of the key principles. They've gotten rid of a lot of the guesswork. You know, everybody's using computers, but they're using computers to analyze people's movements so they can detect their weaknesses and help, strengthen the weaknesses. Maybe you knock people out with your left hand, but you barely crack an egg with your right. They're going to make sure your right is good. Maybe you push off really good off your left foot, but your right foot can't crack the seal on a day old baby doo-doo. So they're going to help you be more balanced so you can get the explosiveness you need. And ain't no more writing on stuff on the clipboard and all that stuff. You put it in the computer. See, you put it in the computer, you see, and the computer just pulls it back up and say, you know what? Your left is soft as baby doo-doo. You got the baby arm on your shoulder instead of somewhere else, and we're going to help you get the baby arm back to where it's supposed to be and get your two Pike Sports arms on you so you can be effective on the field. So they're using like this thing's elite form 3D camera. Basically, y'all, that's the real expensive stuff they got, and it's amazing. It's basically a Nautilus machine with a big old computer on it, a big computer. So they're doing all that stuff to help people with their velocity, their power, their asymmetry. It almost sounds like they're getting ready for the Mr. Olympia, but I know they're not doing that. But I guess that's what happens when you put $10 million into 37,000 square feet of gym. That's the kind of stuff you come up with. So they're focusing on like functional, sports-specific strength. Every lift and drill is chosen for performance, not just arbitrarily. We're not lifting to look good, but to get good. Is long and short of the good country way said. They lifting not to look good, but to get good. You know what I'm saying? I remember this guy that was a bodybuilder. What's his name? They called him the Blade. Went to Mr. Olympia for almost 30 years. And they asked me, they said, man, do you bench this? Do you squat that? He said, hey, man, don't come to me with all them weights, man. My job is not to be strong. It's to look strong. I was like, that's an interesting thing because we always wonder how the powerlifting people be looking like they're like, they big, but they don't look like they're in the best shape. Whereas, bodybuilders, you think they can lift the world. And he was like, no. I think that was Dexter the Blade Jackson said that. He said, my job is to look strong, not be strong. I ain't about tearing my body up like so many others. That's why he stayed in the business for almost 30 years, actually competing. But anyway, they just, really fostering their culture with an elite staff, advanced facilities, and scientific rigor to optimize every athlete's potential. And that's what I want to hear, man. And after Coach Ballou gets their bodies ready, half will get turned over to the new sheriff, they're calling him. There's a new sheriff in town. Y'all may have met him back a while ago. We talked about him. Ryan Grubb is on campus. He's a new sheriff. And Ryan Grubb, the new offensive coordinator under Kelly DeBoer, they say he's bringing an unmatched level of intensity and meticulous preparation, earning praise from both players and coaches. It remains to be seen. But if you were to look up the definition of unmatched level of intensity and meticulous preparation, earning praise from both, you probably get a picture of Nick Saban. That's good and bad. That's good and bad in that it's bad in that, and I know that that's not Saban. He's not that proven. But we do need somebody with some intensity. We do need somebody that's willing to prepare meticulously unlike past coaches. People on that field, they calling this man the cheat code. The cheat code. I know some of y'all old as me and older, y'all don't know what a cheat code is. They say this man is the cheat code because of his ability to scout opponents' tendencies with uncanny precision. Now, that remains to be seen how that's going to work out. But I like the way it sounds either way. Let me jump in the chat real quick. I did have a chat question. If you got in there early enough, I was asking, like, what do you think the University of Alabama's win total would be for the season? Let me know in the chat. Let me know what you think. See, Bama came up here early. He said that's why we need Gucci Alabama jerseys and Roll Tide. Hey, revenue it will sell. I don't. I can't afford a $3,000 jersey, but I don't. No disrespect to the Gucci wearers out there, but if you going to work and you wearing a $4,000 shirt, watch your back. Watch your back. Watch your back. But that probably, I don't know. Gucci is the one with the, I don't know. My wife dresses me, tries to dress me. I don't listen. I'm like, I ain't naked. That's all I can promise you, baby. I ain't naked. There he is. 5 out, Roll Tide, roll till you think of jumping in. I'm going to talk about recruiting in a few minutes, so to speak. I got a little something on recruiting. I did more recruiting last week, but I will give you a little bit of my take on recruiting. But it said, like, going back to Ryan Grubb for a minute, he has this dedicated, described as his dedication is described as next level. And this is with people that have been around Coach DeBoer mostly, because I know this job was going to be big for anybody, and I think it takes some time for him to adjust, Coach DeBoer at least, and having his buddy back on this team is definitely going to on his team rather. It's going to have him, free him to do some other things. Look at the other meticulous part of the ball. Get more involved with defense. Really stress on recruiting. I mean, to me that's almost the head coach's biggest job, and they go out and find some more money for the team. But I'm looking forward to see what they can do. They say he compliments Caleb DeBoer's overall vision, his schematic, and he's a strategic partner who transforms preparation into execution on game day. Because to be honest, I don't think Coach Sheridan had a problem with execution. I just think he had a problem with that whole schematic and being a strategic partner to the defensive coordinator, to be honest. Like, he's just out there for himself. That's all he knew to do. Let me go ahead and get him to execute the stuff I want to execute. They executed. Everybody saw it coming a lot of times, especially going to run Jalen right, Jalen left, Jalen up the middle. Halfway decent plan. Won 9 games, but I wonder if you just wouldn't have been telegraphing so many things. Could we have beat one of the 3 teams we lost to in the regular season? But Grubb fosters an era of accountability first culture, and he's exacting the work ethic. He's pushing on the players to match the standards, and that comes from that starts in recruiting. When you're looking at some players and you talk to them, you already know they may not have a work ethic. I tell my kids all the time. I tell myself sometimes it's about work ethic. If you don't have a work ethic, as Coach Saban used to say, he looked for players who would finish plays off. That was key. Because, like, what is it? Play is over. No, sometimes the play ain't over. It could be over for you in actuality, but how do you run to the play, even though the man's on the ground? Where are you when the man hits the ground? Where are you when the huddle starts to form? Are you firing out the ball? Are you getting tired? Even though the player's on the other side of the field, are you just taking off, or are you still handling your responsibility? It's a lot of things Coach Saban said he used to look at when he recruited a player. Certain people he didn't want to deal with because he's going to be demanding more. You got to have people at the University of Alabama who demand more, not only of themselves, but the people around them. So everybody can be accountable to each other, and more importantly, accountable to themselves. And that's what they say Grubb is all about. Plus, he's kind of fiery. I know everybody was saying, well, the boy's so laid back. Can he really? Well, I know Kane Womack brings the funk. He brings the funk to the players. And they're saying Ryan Grubb is definitely an intense individual. So they call this man the cheat code. Lord knows we really need to be cheating, legal cheating after the season we had. Dealing with Slick Sheridan, man. I mean, for the past year, it was difficult. Everybody knew they make fun of us, but we knew it was more in that team. There was more that could be tapped into in that team, and I don't know if he was ready to get it out. Slick couldn't get it out. But recruiting is still going strong. There's been a lot of visits. But because other teams have picked up in recruiting and they're signing people left and right, I don't know what the philosophy is with DeBoer yet. I'm sure it'll manifest itself over time. Last year, it was kind of hurried, trying to get in place and get the class in. So they were signing people, left and right. May not even wanted all of them, but he did a great job of getting us a top 5, top 3 recruiting class. And I think he'll end up in the top 5 again this year. But right now, there are 6 players that have been recruited. A lot of people have visited the school in the last 2 or 3 weekends. And a lot more people will come. Nobody is signed, but they keep talking about everybody that was offered. They offered so many people. I really couldn't cover them all in a program such as this. You almost need a roll around just as who was offered. And that's not even crystal balling them to the University of Alabama because some people had already been verbally committed to other places. I tried to cover a lot of them last Monday, but that recruiting, they got a lot of big names. And I think what the philosophy is, from what I understand, listening to the other guys that know a lot more about this than I do, the more 4 and 5 stars that you have coming to campus or even willing to listen to you, the more you will sign. Because name a school. North Carolina don't have the visitation list that we have. Florida State don't have the visitation list. And not saying they got bad visitation lists, but they simply do not have the visitation list of the University of Alabama. And to be honest, that's what's worrying everybody out there in the ethos. Those that have these people committed to them at LSU. I think 2 LSU commits came to see us. We got a Georgia commit that come to see us. Somebody that's committed to Michigan or is either down between Alabama. But when you have everybody coming, they looking around, they're like, so that's what 18 titles look like. Oh, that's 4 Heisman Trophy winners. Kind of recent history, How old is Herschel Walker versus Mark Ingram versus Derek? Derek's still playing. You know what I'm saying? At a high level. He's free. But he's still playing. So a lot of people, I think that's the thing. As long as they keep people coming in there, they know some people are going to fall, they're going to sign. But because other schools have been signing people and getting their numbers up and their quality of their the quality of their classes are being taken into consideration versus our 6, the Crimson Tide probably fell 30% in all the recruiting polls. Like I said, it's temporary. Got to remember, it's June, the middle of June, but they did fall. But I expect these numbers to change really by mid-July because they're saying that's when a lot of people start, doing their commits and finalizing what they want to do the rest of their life. Right now, Rivals has Alabama ranked as 50th. I think that's down from 43. 24/7 has it tied as 54, which is down from 40-something as well. We was 38 on one, I think 40-something on the other one. Everybody else is rising up. USC is ranked number 1 right now. I can't even say it with a straight face. USC got number 1 class right now. Oh, I thought child abuse was illegal. Anyway, On 3 loves Crimson Tide. On 3 loves us. They pushed us down to 12. Never understand the 50, 54, 12. Anyway, all these numbers I think would be null and void. Worst case scenario is Alabama end up like in the bottom between 6 and 10 the end of the recruiting season. Because you got to remember, we got a long way to go. It doesn't end in August. It doesn't end in December. I think it all really ends in February. So we got a long way to go. Got a long way to go, and I think there's something to be said about the money that's being spent. Where is it coming from? Who and how can we play these players? Can we not necessarily use the private equity conversation from earlier, but who can pay these players? Can I bring this man to my school for $300,000 out of my pocket and let somebody else pay him $500,000? A lot of people just jumping out there with the good old money. That's why I know a lot of these people, these classes have gone off, they're gonna start losing people. That's what the Kirby was talking about. We paying people $20,000, then they don't come to that school. They won't give us our money back. And like, who fault is that? Blame your lawyer, whoever drew up the contract. Stop letting the cafeteria people write out doggone contracts for y'all. No disrespect to the cafeteria people, but y'all should not be writing contracts. Because I guess that's what's happening at the University of Alabama. So recruiting is kind of shaky, but it's I think it's gonna work out, as DC is saying right here. Shout out to you, DC. He said he heard recruiting about to get crazy for Bama. I'm gonna be humble, as we always are at Alabama fans. We're gonna be humble. We're gonna let it all play out. All I know is, I'm glad I got you up there, DC. I hope you're listening still. But it's all gonna work out in the wash. People were saying that Alabama, gotten away from recruiting Alabama-based players and stuff. Something weird to me, which is a problem I have, and I'll talk about this in a second. I was like, man, we got to get these players from Alabama because, yeah, they understand the Iron Bowl and the intensity. If I'm not mistaken, for the 2026 class, there's 2 5-stars even identified in the state of Alabama. And just statistically speaking, I'm so sick of these recruiting services. That's not even possible. That don't even make sense. One of the guys from my hometown, I think he signed with LSU. He's the quarterback. I think one of the receivers is like 6'6", and the other one's 6'4". I can't remember which one was graduating or if both of them graduated, but I saw them dudes play. They look like Randy Moss. I don't know how fast they are. They play out Randy Moss. No, Randy Moss, you just chuck it to me, Bo. They played out Randy Moss. Was the quarterback phenomenal? I don't know. He got him the ball. They caught the ball at him. They most half the people I saw play. I'm like, but I don't even know if they got 3 stars because people don't have money to be going to these camps. But, I did want to highlight as I move to my next topic. Recruiting going to work itself out, 5 Adam, and we will have more as the recruiting process goes. It's year round now because you got to stop to recruit high school people. You got to check out the JUCOs, and the JUCO emphasis is going to get greater after this year and greater and greater and greater. And you still got to look at the transfer portal for those needed pieces. But there are 2 freshmen that have hit the capstone, and they are certainly making waves. Now, I'm not talking about Luke Metz out of Georgia. I'm not talking about Luke Metz. No. I'm not talking about Latia Brooks, who is just beating doggone upperclassmen. They're like, why? How do you do that? I'm not talking about the man who said he wanted to build a pipeline from the University of Alabama to IG Academy, somewhere down there in Florida. Michael Carroll, I ain't talking about him. I'm not even talking about the freak quarterback Dijon Lee. I ain't talking about them because they've been on campus since January. I ain't talking about them. But I do want to talk about 2 of them feminists that just showed up. I'm talking about 2 other members of the class of 2025, the top 3 recruiting class I was telling you about. They arrived upon campus about a few weeks back, maybe 5-6 weeks ago. We're talking about Caleb Edwards and London Simmons. Go to my recruiting playlist. I did videos on them. Go check it out. The boys are legit. Caleb Edwards come to us from California somewhere, probably in the mountain. No, he's tight end. They say he has flexibility for wide receiver, but I'm not sure about his speed for wide out. But I'm sure he probably runs a 4.6. I think he ran like some hurdles or something too. Not that he's a lumbering type of tight end. He is the athletic type. He played basketball, and he played let's say he had good hands and he did play above the rim, but it wasn't like he was Dominique Wilkins out there. More like a Karl Malone. Maybe even faster than Karl Malone, depending on what you use watching Karl Malone. But he chose Alabama over Georgia, Oregon, and Texas. He's a 4-star prospect. He's listed at 6'5", 230, 240. The ideal size for a mismatch. I told y'all in the SEC, we got good defenses, but we really don't cover tight ends in the SEC. Shh. Don't tell nobody. He's been praised for his athleticism, his hands, his red zone potential. And like I said, when I watched him play basketball, it was like on the break, he can catch one. He can definitely catch an alley-oop. Got good hands. He has good feet because I saw him do. He slammed on somebody just using the drop step move, which is a footwork thing. Kevin McHale, all that stuff I can't do on the court. And he's powerful. Slick Sheridan said that Edwards is versatile. He can block and he can receive. And it's just said that Caleb can contribute. In year one in a 12 personnel set. I'm looking forward to see what he can do because I see the potential. Now, he's from California. People can say that, man, he don't understand the rivalry. Maybe he don't. But I think he's smart enough to learn. So this summer, he's looking at adding strength because you got to get your strength up. I don't care who you are. You got to get your strength up for the SEC. And, of course, you got to learn the nuances of the defensive fronts he's going to be looking at. And he has to understand how the cheat code is going to use him. So if you're looking for how he best fits the team, he's kind of in that Irv Smith Jr., O.J. Howard role. He could be a part of our rotation alongside the returning veterans because, we lost 2 to 3. So I think we lost 1, 2 in the portal that I know of. They made Dupree and Oots. I think the third guy was about to leave, but found out he was a starter. He was like, well, y'all hanging out? I can hang out. He came back. And I think they brought in 2 more tight ends. You got this guy coming in. So I look forward to seeing what he can do because I was impressed. I mean, he was hard to tackle in high school too. He kind of get the ball. He turned toward the end zone, started doing that juggernaut type stuff with people trying to pull on him. And there was a lot of 3-person tackles going on with Mr. Edwards. So he's going to be a key piece for the Alabama's future offensive identity. I look forward to it. And they say in 2026, possibly 27, I'm going to go 26. He's going to be a breakout candidate for the offense. And I can't wait to see. Next, we're going to move on to the overlooked defensive line because, see, DC said we ain't got no line. And I'm saying, there were already linemen on the team. I went through it. Y'all heard me say it to him before. Y'all watch Iron Bowl debates. But here's a perfect case for what I'm talking about. London Simmons was a 3-star defensive lineman from Mississippi. Now, I went and looked at the film. And I said, that's 3-star? Okay. He chose Bama over Ole Miss, Mississippi State. And just to be honest, he's 6'3", 290, which could allow him to rotate this year into one of the best defensive lines in the nation. I know it's like, I think number 9 on somebody's list, so he can go in there and rotate with NFL prospects, Tim Keenan, L.T. Overton, and James Smith. Kelby Collins may be down there, and Q Russo, I think he got to do another year, but he's still an NFL prospect. He could have went last year if the rules would allow. But he can get on that line and get a little play because we need about 7 to 8 of them to get out there and tear some heads off, beat them up, chew up some blocks. London is projected as a interior defensive lineman. He's known for his strength and quickness off the snap. He has really good feet, y'all. I don't know. I was just hearing a story the other day. Josh Jacobs. He was on the All the Smoke podcast, I think it is. All the Smoke. Yeah, I think. And he was like, I think Matt Barnes said, hey, man, I saw that you were a no-star running back before you signed with the University of Alabama. First, so I'll tell you about lazy coaches. How did Nick Saban find him? 0 stars. Josh said they actually started sending reporters to his game locally, to his game, because they thought somebody was cooking the books. They thought they was jacking up his stats. So, he was homeless. He lived in the car in and out with his father. They were struggling. He said, I couldn't go to them camps. It would take $200 for him to get to where he was, to get down in Texas, to go to the camp, and then to come back. And then you had to pay for the camp. You wanted to eat while you was there. He couldn't afford to do all this stuff. This recruiting system has gotten crazy. We used to have more local coverage, local reporters. Shout out to Kevin Sims. He used to work for the Montgomery Advertiser. We used to have more local interaction. Now it's so national. You got a couple of guys trying to cover all these, what is it? 40,000? No, 400,000 high school football players. People falling through the cracks left and right, and it's a shame. Lassie Brooks was the same way. 3-star until he got signed with the University of Alabama, became a 4-star. Should have been a 5-star in his junior year, playing in the jersey. I figured he wasn't playing nobody, but his numbers was ridiculous. Josh Jacobs said the guy 10 minutes from him was a 5-star running back, and he was 10 minutes from him. And the difference was that guy went to all the camps. Nobody believed his numbers because he didn't come to the camps. That's crazy. And I just think now, since guys get paid based on their star rating, like you may just go to a team, and Alabama just signed a quarterback. He's called a preferred walk-on. He's 6'6". He reminds me of Sunshine on Remember the Titans. He's a preferred walk-on. He's up there doing his thing, but I don't know if he gets any money for signing University of Alabama, or maybe he will get something. But if you're a 3-star, you won't get compensated like a 5-star. Now, what if you like Lassie Brooks? You find out you should have been getting $10,000 instead of $6,000, or shouldn't you be able to go get that extra $25,000 from the recruiting services who didn't rank you properly? And now they're gonna say, well, he never came to the camps we was at. Yeah, but his numbers were ridiculous. Don't you have a database making all this money, charging for subscriptions to ESPN? Don't you have the money to look at the database and cross-reference with the teams that played with people on the list that did go to the camps? I don't understand it. I'm just saying, keep it up. Pretty soon, I don't know, 2060, them recruits are going to be making $100,000. And I know dang old well, my grandson, if my grandson is getting $20,000 when they're supposed to be making $70,000 for being a 3-star recruit, we going to court and we're going to get that money out your ESPN rivals, not on 3 because you're a friend of the program. 24/7. Y'all better get it together. This is ridiculous. This is what they did to London. London was out there playing. Oh, one more thing. Josh Jacobs said the only high school game he had was like a championship game. I think he had already committed to the Crimson Tide. He had 500 yards in that last game. I was like, was that Russian? I was like, it don't make a difference. He had 500 yards. I don't even know how many touchdowns he had. This is a doggone shame because this man don't have his daddy can't pay for a huddle account. I just remember going to the local paper and looking up, because our basketball team was pretty good. I can look at my friends, but look at my friends. He leading the state in assists. Oh man, same guy, he leading the state in steals. I can look at it. It was at my house. How come it ain't that these professors? I won't say it's a scam, but they're running a scheme that I do not appreciate. And I think this is what happened to London. And God bless whoever found London Simmons for the University of Alabama. He's becoming indoctrinated in our scheme. He's expected to provide depth at the defensive tackle position. And he has a big motor. He's willing to learn. He's a project, but he has been praised for his work ethic. I will say it again. He's a project, but he has been praised for his work ethic. Sometimes you got people, they not even a project, they ain't got no work ethic. They get worse and worse and worse every time you see him. So this summer they got him focused on his hand technique, how you gonna hook them cables into the linemen and snatch them quarter TBs down. It's gonna be all right. He may not see the field that much this year. He could get redshirted because, as I've told people, there are actual SEC defensive linemen already on the team with the University of Alabama. So we're going to be all right right there. So, but they say he got a good work ethic, and we always know hard work beat talent when talent won't work. Say it again. Hard work beats talent when talent won't work. And, I'm just looking forward. So the future, is on campus, and more are coming to rebuild the dynasty's butt-kicking capability. So don't be scared, haters. Matter of fact, tremble in fear. Pray to the God above or whoever you pray to, because it might be over. Because there's nothing you can do about it anyway, to be honest. I'm just putting all programs on notice. Last year was your year. Last year was your year. And now it's gone. Ohio State and a few others, they took advantage. You know, they were the only ones that took advantage. Alabama, they ain't looking right. They down on us. Ohio State did it. And the ones that got to the playoffs, what we did, they took advantage. But to the several playoff teams and to the others, I got to say that you need to know that you have no chance to keep us out of the playoffs this year. I'm just going to say it like that. And I would say that we were back, but the reality is the Crimson Tide really never left. We've been living rent-free in the mind of America for so long. I mean, so long. And you think I'm talking about saving. I'm not. We've been living in the minds of football fans rent-free for far too long. But I'll say this. You missed your shot, folks. And I'm tired of breaking folks' heart tonight and creating this. They're gonna be seen by, fans, our fans. They're gonna all agree with me. They already know how great we are. But to the people that are haters of the program, I'm not gonna break y'all heart no more. Almost 50 minutes of just disappointing y'all. I'm not gonna do it no more. So let me shut it down for this episode of Around the Herd. Thank y'all for joining me. Join us Wednesday at 6 p.m. for Iron Bowl debates, where we make, Auburn fans get the bash and the greatness of a Crimson Tide fan, one of the biggest fans out there. So tune in. You never know where the conversation may go. We may talk about Jordans. We may talk about chicken. We might talk about chicken. No disrespect to anybody who don't eat chicken, but we might talk about chicken. I want to talk about catfish. But you just never know where it may go. So please join us. Remember to add a pound of pressure to that subscribe button. And as we get out of here, please know to hit that notification button so you'll know when I drop something. When I drop an interesting take or some news, 5 out, I may drop something about, oh boy decided to go to Alabama, or somebody not going to a school we don't like and has decided to come to Alabama. So you know what I'm doing, hit that subscribe button so you know when we come out here. So tell your friends you can find me on YouTube and Facebook, primarily at Tight Sports. Sometimes you see me peeking around the badlands of Twitter, better known as X, but not too often. I gotta enhance my filters on that thing. It's horrible. Shout out to the Sharpshooters podcast, Roll Tide to you, and many others. I got to reach out to some people. Anybody got a number for Stephen M. Smith? I need to talk to him. Peace unto the brothers at Auburn Addicts. Water Cooler Talk podcast. Bub and Old Man, it's SE season with my main man Tez and the Uptempo podcast. They are a great group of Auburn Americans. With that, we'll see you next time right here on Around the Herd. And always remember, roll, tide, roll.